All right, welcome back to the channel. And I'm excited to be talking to you about Dark Matter, which is another Apple TV Plus sci fi. They just dropped 2 episodes. They are available to stream on Apple TV Plus. Dark Matter is another mind bending sci fi from Apple. I don't know why they keep doing this so well. I really I can't keep up with just how good their sci-fis are. And it's starting off real strong here. Wow. You can check out my spoiler breakdown and stick around as I'll be covering this weekly. I'm a non-book reader, so I don't know what happens. So I'm on the ride of this already thrilling series. I'm going to go into the spoilers here. So if you haven't watched, consider this your official warning. Now, in the series premiere, we see a former physicist is abducted into an alternate version of his life by a masked man. And it only gets weird from there. In the first episode, we meet Jason, Joel Egerton, uh, and his wife, Daniela, the beautiful Jennifer Connelly, a married couple living in Chicago with their teenage son, Charlie, who is played by Oaks Figley. Everything seems pretty good until Jason is invited out to celebrate an achievement by his friend and former colleague Ryan Holder, who is played by Jimmy Simpson. Ryan won the PVA Prize, an award in the field of neuroscience that could eventually lead to some money and career opportunities down the road. So it's a tough pill to swallow. We see that on screen for Jason. Now, the first Jason that we get introduced to, I'm going to just call Jason 1, okay? Just so that it's for simplicity's sake here, when I'm talking and explaining what's going on. So it's a tough pill for him, and you could see on one hand he's happy, and on the other he's not really happy about his career and where it's led him. And he's happy for his friend Ryan, but having him win that, it's a glimpse of the life that he could have lived had he chosen career over family. So I find that very interesting. Now, Daniela, his wife, we're just going to call her Daniela 1, convinces Jason to head to the local watering hole for a celebration. And so he ends up going. And so after a few drinks, Ryan says he wants Jason to be a member of his new neurotech team. And so the only thing is the job is located in San Francisco, and Jason doesn't seem to very interested in moving to San Francisco. And we're not really entirely sure why just yet. But on his way home, he's walking, it's raining, he's kind of in a drunken stupor. He never makes it home. A masked man grabs Jason during his walk, kidnapping him at gunpoint and forcing him to drive to an abandoned hangar, all the while grilling him on Ryan and what they discussed at the bar. So that's what's happening. Upon reaching their destination, Jason's assailant makes him strip naked and then injects him with some sort of sedative before he falls unconscious. The masked man tells Jason to change into a different set of clothes. So of course Jason wants to know who this guy is. Who wouldn't, right? But he claims Jason wouldn't believe him anyways, so he never tells him. He still has the mask on. So when Jason comes to, he finds himself being poked and prodded by several doctors who then lock him up in a room to quarantine him. And then this is where Alice Braga is introduced. She plays Amanda, and she enters to tell him he's clean. Unfortunately, he has no clue who she is in the scene, right? You see that. So soon it becomes clear that Jason is somehow in another timeline, a place where he won the actual award that his friend won, the PVA award, and is swimming in success. In this timeline, he works alongside a man named Leighton, another former colleague who informs Jason that he is the first to return, right? We don't know what that means. At this point, Jason has had enough. He makes a break for it he wants to get back to his wife and his son. He's back at his house, except it's totally different. Amanda is waiting for him in the kitchen. This is her house. He's combing through every room looking for signs of Daniela and Charlie, his wife and his son, and there aren't any, just accolades and plaques. So the Jason of this timeline has achieved everything the other Jason always wanted. Okay. So I hope that's not confusing. So the one who abducted Jason 1 is actually Jason 2. Okay. We don't see that until about now. Now Jason 1 is in Jason's 2's house, and he sees Amanda, and he's confused, and he has no clue. She has no clue who his wife Daniela and his son Charlie are, right? Okay. So Jason 1 is, he's dealing with the, like, he's like, this is my house. You're not my wife. Why are you here? Where's my wife? Where's my son? This episode suggests that Jason 2 created something that allowed him to hop timelines. So he did. And we kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of what's happening and what the story is about very quickly in the episode when we see Jason 1 teaching about a cat in the box and it being alive and dead. There's some breadcrumbs that are letting us know what's happening before it happens. Okay. And so that was one. So Jason 2 created something to hop timelines and then forcibly removed Jason 1 and made him take his place. So that's what's going on in this episode. Jason 2 makes himself right at home, right? So he gets changed. He goes to the house and makes himself right at home with Daniela, Jason's 1's wife. And interestingly, Jason 2 doesn't remember that Daniela dislikes mint chocolate ice cream. So he screwed that up, but he does remember something he said to her years ago at the start of their relationship. What does that mean? Is he the real Jason? Does he have access to his counterpart's memories? We don't know. I have no idea. I did not read the book, so I can't even say. But before they settled down in Chicago, one of these two Jasons told Daniela that when he died, he'd rather look back and remember her versus a cold, sterile lab. That's why he doesn't intend to accept Ryan's job offer. Charmed, Daniela kind of falls into Jason's two arms and they head to bed together, leaving the other Jason 1, scared and confused in his new timeline. So that is basically episode 1. Wow. So many crazy turns. This series has me hooked so badly. And of course, it's so good. It's so well done. The edits are very well done to aid in the story. And you can tell very easily which Jason we're looking at and which Daniela we're looking at. And so that is the recap for episode 1. I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. This was absolutely amazing. So one thing I want to point out is that I love that this story is centered around this marriage and the relationship there. The title of episode 1 is Are You Happy with Your Life? And you can see Jason 1 kind of, I don't know if he's regretting some things when his friend calls him and tells him that he won the award. You can see kind of like just this cloud of maybe regrets, maybe that should have been me. And then when all of this happens to him, where he gets pushed out of his own timeline and into another timeline and realizes that he doesn't have his wife, he doesn't know where his wife is, where his child is. The people that should recognize him don't recognize him, and you could tell, like, it's kind of like what really matters right here. Is it awards and accolades and money, or is it family and life and building a life together? And I just love that this show does that for us, that it actually is not just about all the science and all the technology, because it could be, and it very well is that. But I love this element of relationship, and especially within this genre, sci-fi, because it makes me feel something. It makes me want to root for Jason 1, really, and his, he made some choices, and that is really the crux of this. Is our lives are marked by the choices that we make, and that is something that Daniela says in episode 2, which I'll be talking about here. And she goes into this, and this idea of your life is marked by the decisions that you make. And clearly Jason 1 made the decision to put family first, and Jason 2 did not. And you can see the difference, and you can see, and you ask the question, like, why is this guy doing this? And I'm like, because of Daniela, because he wants that life. We'll see how this thing rolls out, but it feels like he wants the success and the accolades and all of that, and he wants the family and that life. And Jason 1 He's like, I don't care about the accolades. I just want to be with my wife, even though even though in the beginning you could see that he cared, and now it feels like all he cares about is returning back to the life that he had prior to this abduction and getting kidnapped and, having swapped timelines. So episode 2 is a banger. The end of that episode, really, I could not believe what I was watching. So this is my recap for episode 1. Let me know what you think of this series so far. I just recapped episode 1. Jason 2 has spent most of his years creating a box that is able to jump timelines. And in this episode, there are 2 Danielas. The first episode was very kind of establishing the story, rightfully so. That's basically what series do, right? And episode 2 felt a lot like that as well, except maybe a little bit of a slower pace, just to kind of get. I mean, this is a jarring reality for not just Jason 1, who just is like running around trying to find his wife and child, but also us, the audience. So I felt like, the pacing was really well done here so that we can get kind of familiar with this new reality. Episode 1 kind of gives us a glimpse of Jason 1, the family man, right? His life with his wife and his kid. And episode 2 gives us more of a glimpse of Jason 2 and his life and what he's been doing and his accomplishments as a science man. As we see Jason 1, he's in Jason's 2's timeline, and it's jarring for him. So jarring that he goes to the hospital to get himself checked out. There's nothing wrong with him. There's no brain damage. We see Jason 1, he manages to track down Daniela 2, the Daniela in Jason's 2 timeline. So he tracks her down. You can see that they're friends. Jason 2 chose his research and career over building a family with Daniela when she becomes pregnant. So that is revealed to us. So Charlie doesn't exist in this reality. She chose to abort the baby, which is so crazy to me. So Jason is saying, we have a family. We have a son. You're my wife. What are you talking about? He's trying to convince her that, they have a life together. And surprisingly, Daniela believes Jason's story and helps him to try and figure out what's going on. So it's really cool. It's like I love this episode so much until the end. So he figures out, oh my gosh, Jason 2 actually built it. Son of a bitch built the box. He is me in my timeline, and I am him in his timeline. And he gets this clarity, and so why do this, right? It all comes down to Daniela. And this is what I love about this show so already, is that it's about this woman. It's about the life that he wish he had, and Jason 2 wish he had, and Jason 1 wish he had. Jason 2 decides to steal the life of this other version of himself. And the ending of episode 2 did what most really great shows do, honestly, is we have this really nice emotional moment between Jason 1 and Daniela 2, and then it completely goes to crap because she gets shot dead. So that was shocking. I'm still trying to get over it. Honestly, I'm just like, what did I just watch? Holy shit. And so episode 2 for me, I grade that 5 stars. Even with that ending, this show next Wednesday, we're in for a ride, and I love it, and I hope you love it. Let me know what you think. Dark Matter, Apple TV Plus, airing every Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.